right. Just running technical check right now. Not seeing anything. Oh, I think we're good. One final technical check. It looks like we are good to go. Good evening, folks. Welcome back for another Friday night edition of the ARC 2024 America's Championship of the Formula One Series. We are here this fine weekend, of course, in the Principality. Back to Monaco we are. A few drivers getting it going with some qualifying at the moment. Race number 5 on the season. Things sort of starting to settle out, and drivers starting to find their groove. The championship starting to shape up in ways that we should expect, or potentially not. Interesting omission from the grid tonight. Of course, a very thin grid, only 12 at the moment. Of course, a few more may trickle in as qualifying runs along, but championship leader Nico Pichet not on the grid tonight, it appears. So the win is wide open for the taking. Without him, of course, can be expected for second place in the Drivers' Championship, Mikey de Jong, to do pretty well. Let's run through the championship, shall we? Nico Pichet leads the way with 77 points. Mikey de Jong taking up second place, about 19 points behind with 58. Jonathan Juergensmeyer close behind in third with 51. And then a bit of a drop down to Jackson Altman with 35. Cameron Lopez with 30. Tyler Crabtree in P6 in the championship with 28. That is quite a tight little battle. Then it's Boriyoshi and Julius Duku tied for P6. P7 with 22 points apiece. 21 points going to AJ Knickel right there in the fight with them. Jamie Knock rounding out the top 10, P10 in the championship with 16 points. Most of those drivers mentioned are on the grid tonight. So, I mean, plenty of points to be made here, especially with the omission of Nico Pichet.
Yeah, just getting word before the race too, Alex. Cameron Lopez being given the permanent seat at Red Bull for the remainder of the season as Matthew Stotts has been away from the team for a while and hasn't made it to a race, but Cameron Lopez in his wake has stepped up big time and look for Cameron Lopez to actually have a great race. We saw what he did in the Euro F1 Monaco race last season. Pretty much walked to victory in his sleep. So
Yeah, quietly holding his own in the championship thus far. Of course, a lot of heavy hitters already coming out swinging, a lot of ARC veterans, so to speak. But he has done very well to stick right with them to some extent. As mentioned just a moment ago, P5 in the Drivers' Championship for now. May look to advance a spot or two tonight if he can manage to put it together. Currently on his first lap and a big twitch from him. Oh, rear end stepped way out and he had to take a lot of evasive maneuvers to keep it out of the wall. So I'm sure he will be abandoning this lap because of it. Unfortunately, it was just such a big step out of that rear end. Through the tunnel he goes regardless, though, and we will pick back up with him when he makes his way back around. Boriyoshi, an interesting one to keep eyes on tonight. As mentioned, without our championship leader, can maybe expect a good race from him as well. Barring any incidents, it seems his strategy calls and things out of his control have been kind of leaving him hung out to dry for most of the Grand Prix up to this point. A driver that we usually expect to be a regular podium contender has found his way finishing a bit further down the board than I'm sure that we all expect. However, tonight that may change. On his first lap, making his way through the chicane right now. The final few corners. And as he comes onto the start-finish straight, oh, he will be ducking it into the pits, actually. He will not be coming into the start-finish straight. So, off we go. Julius Dugu on his way out to lay down his first lap of the session. Currently tied for that P7 spot with Boriyoshi in the championship. great season from him so far, must be said. I know we do week in and week out, but it's just night and day the difference between what he was able to do last year and this year.
Absolutely.
Already though, it is oh, who is that? Not sure the name there. Attack on provisional pole at the moment for the
Yeah, I'm
Ferrari team.
actually not sure who that is.
Newcomer to the grid this season. We are didn't have time to get a name beforehand, so I guess that driver will be Attack for the time being. Casper close behind, about 7 hundredths of a second off of that provisional pole pace. Cameron Lopez currently sitting P3 with his 1:10.6.
I'll try and get that information as soon as possible.
Trying to scout.
J- Jamie Knox saying in the comments he's ready to cook it into the barrier.
I mean, we always hope for the opposite, but I mean, when you speak it into
Absolutely.
existence like that, it's kind of hard to avoid. Bill, do you possibly want to follow around Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for a lap around Monaco?
Uh, I'll give it my best shot. I won't lie.
It's a quick lap.
Yeah, as we come up to turn one here, very tight. Do not want to, and he's already invalidated.
Well, he will not be pushing this lap, unfortunately for Jurg, currently sitting P7 with that 112. Must have had a bit
I
of
have
an
to
issue
think
on his first
Jurg
hot
just
lap.
saved me. A bit of
Maybe Jamie
light-minded
Knock?
today. I apologize. Oh, yay, thanks.
Let's follow Jamie Knock around, shall we?
All right, into Sandoval we go. Get it close to the wall. Oh, traffic in front. As we go up the winding streets, even though you're going to take a line that's pretty much straight through here. Bring it out wide, bring it in tight. Important here. Stay to the left, bring it back to the right.
Bit of a twitch.
Hard on the brakes. Get it nice and tight. This is going to be the slowest part on any F1 calendar. The Lowe's hairpin is what they used to call it. I don't see a home improvement store anywhere nearby. But as we get set to
Oh, big contact there, yeah. Clipped the inside
Jamie
wall and
Knock
it
did
sent him.
say he's gonna cook it into, and he's cooked it again. Maybe we should just stop going to drivers.
It's Monaco. I'm sure most of the people watching know it anyway. You'll probably be just fine without a driver to follow around for a lap. You know it, you love it, or you hate it, depending on who you are.
Track hard, very small, barrier close.
I think it is by far of any racing discipline anywhere in the world, the fact that F1 cars still race around this track is an absolute travesty.
Mm. The worst they could do is probably put them around Macaw
Yeah. Looks super fun
or
on a
the
bike
inside
though.
of a mall. But no, the Prestige, it's been on the calendar for every season of Formula One. It's prestigious. It knows none. It's part of the big Triple Crown. It's part of the Triple Crown. You need to win a Monaco GP, the Indy 500, and a 24 hour of Le Mans. It's part of arguably the greatest day in racing when you start off with the Monaco Grand Prix. Then you get to the Indy 500, and then you top the night off with the Coke 600, which is just the creme de la creme when it comes to motorsports in one day. So
Yeah, right at the beginning of summer, it's just the best day to
Memorial
kick
Day, yes,
back and
absolutely.
yeah. Monaco, of course, the track that has been on the F1 calendar the longest, however, not technically the oldest. That award goes to Monza, of course. A few years older than Monaco, however, not on the calendar for as long. However, both, of course, on the calendar each year now.
Just trying to make sure I can get Aiden McCarthy an invite there.
Yeah, a few drivers it seems we are expecting to trickle in, as Mikey de Jong makes his way onto provisional pole by about 2/100ths of a second over Attack in the Ferrari. And as mentioned right at the top of the broadcast, it should be a big day for Mike DeYoung. A lot of points to be made up here in his fight for the championship with Nico Pichet. And unfortunately, it's a bit of a Max Verstappen situation for him, or I guess Max Verstappen Charles Leclerc dynamic for him in the case that he kind of needs Nico to just not be here for him to be able to win a race at this point. Our defending champion of the ARC Formula One series. Nico Pichet, no newcomer by any means. He's been racing in ARC, I believe, since the year 2018 or so. And interesting stat that he had going for him, I believe, up until the last week or two, he had never participated in ARC race in which he did not come in first. Good lap here from Attack,
Oh,
it seems.
attack. His name is Valerie Javiera.
Is it
She,
Valeria? Valerio?
uh,
Just Valerie?
Valerie Javi, I believe. If you go to Discord real quick,
All right.
look in the leaks.
I trust your
Uh,
judgment on it. You just tell me what you think it is. Peek behind the curtain for
Valerie.
some of you watching. There's a bit of a behind the scenes. This is something that we would obviously usually mute our mics for, so it's not broadcasting for television. However, peek behind the curtain here. We're learning names on the fly, just as you are, probably. Valerie, for now, putting in a decent a decent lap to some extent. Of course, had to bail out of the last one and make way for traffic about halfway through. Currently sitting P2 with the 110.1. 110.13 to Mikey DeYoung's 110.10. Oh, and I wish I just saw Lewis's messages. It flashed up for a moment. Lewis, thank you for the pronunciation key. I will be using that. I just gotta go check to see exactly what it was that you mentioned.
Good lord, I was way off.
And Cameron Lopez, kind of out of nowhere. Provisional pole for him with about 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. First driver into the 109s.
Oh, I knew he had it in him, Alex.
Name is
This
Valerie Xaviera. Okay, Xaviera. Yes, Xaviera. Thank you, Lewis.
Lewis, as always, with the insight on these pronunciations. An unmentioned king in that aspect. We appreciate you.
Only a few drivers out on track at the moment, and I feel like this is kind of the golden moment for some of these drivers. Not too much traffic to have to make their way through. AJ Knickel at the moment looking to lay down a lap here, looking to improve off of his 111, currently P9. And as mentioned, AJ finds himself only 1 point behind both Boryoshi and Julius Dooku, who are tied for P7 in the driver's standings. So AJ looking to make up some ground in the championship if possible this weekend. Monaco, a favorite of his, a track that he usually goes pretty well around. Of course, battling that AlphaTauri though, and although that does not mean really much of anything in an equal cars setting league, it is still just breezes his way through the chicane, has already invalidated his lap, so he'll just be burning his way back into the pits, hoping to get back as fast as possible so he can be back out as fast as possible, get
Much
another
like an
one in.
artist, you like to see when the drivers interpret track limits.
Okay, so back onto the track we go, and we will follow along with Julius Duco at the moment, but only for a moment as he ducks his way back into the pits, having invalidated his lap right there as well. And I believe it is only Jamie Cavanini who is on a valid lap at the moment.
Yep.
Currently P8 in that Haas.
Well, never mind.
Yep. Commentators curse. Sorry about it, Jamie. And
You
into
could
the
hear him
wall for
grab a
good
little
measure.
bit of wheel lock. I don't think he's gonna be able to get in and out
Sorry, did you
before.
say you can hear it?
I heard the wheel lock. Yeah,
Oh,
at my
you.
game volume turn.
I do not have any game audio. it
Oh, that's
seems.
not good.
So not sure
You
that
should
the
probably
broadcast does
adjust your
either.
mix.
Oh, I do. I have been. I've been messing with it all throughout. I
Oh,
guess I
hold on.
just
Let me.
don't have any game audio at the moment. Everything has been silent besides the sweet sound of our lovely voices. Sorry for that. Seems to be a bit of technical difficulties. This does happen from time to time. Not sure exactly what causes it, but plenty of
Hey,
Fridays
no,
that
it's.
I will join in and there's just no game audio.
Yeah, I just went and checked the stream and you weren't kidding, though.
Yep, Julius Dooku making space there on his outlap. He'll be looking to improve from P8 with his 110.9. Early retirement here from Andrew Davis in the Alpine, currently sitting P7 with his 110.8. He'll be hoping to sit upon that time and hope nobody does really any better. P7 would be a great start for him there.
Yeah. What's gonna happen here is a lot of these drivers are just gonna get across the line, but they're gonna be so close, Alex, that if one driver has a mistake, it could cost other drivers. So keep an eye on that.
Time to beat here, still that of Cameron Lopez, who has made his way back out for one final hot lap. Only driver into the 109s thus far. Mikey DeYoung looking to make an improvement of his own, make his way into the 109s if possible. Just sort of cruising his way through the final sector, final few corners of Sector 3 at the moment. He'll be coming across the line to start his last hot lap of this qualifying session soon enough. Over he goes, and he will be looking to advance from P3 at the moment. In the time since we last checked, it is Valerie who has shot her way up back into P2 with the 110.0. However, oh, and it's a big crash there for Mikey DeYoung. Oh, he's lost his left front on some contact with the outside wall there at the end of Sector 1. Oh, and it's a 110.1 that he will have to sit upon, as every other driver just about is out for their final hot lap. He'll have to hope for the best here, much the same as Andrew Davis, who has already fallen one position after his early retirement. Jamie Knock and Ayrton Frederick will not be able to put in a lap of their own, sitting upon their times of 111 and 113 respectively. Aiden McCarthy, who did make it into the session, rounding out the grid at 14, currently P14 himself. Early retirement for Valerie as well, though, so it looks like Cameron Lopez may go unchallenged here as he gives the outside wall a little smooch there right at the end of Sector 2. He is purple, however, through the sector as he comes around. Oh, and a big step out of his rear end there. That has bottled any chance of advancing, but he doesn't really need to. Still sitting on provisional pole. He's the last one across the line, I believe, besides Jamie Cavanini, who has invalidated, so nobody on the grid will be challenging Cameron Lopez for pole position here in Monaco. 109 will be the pole time. Valerie, newcomer to the grid, putting in a cracking lap herself with the 110.0. Mikey DeYoung not far behind with the 110.1. But there you have it. The grid is set here in Monaco. We are ready to go racing in the Principality soon enough. Indigo with a very worthy shout out of Mikey DeYoung. Must say, he is much beloved. Really not a bad word to be said about Mikey DeYoung by anybody in ARC. Can't imagine that there is anybody with any sort of beef or problem with him. Great driver, great dude. Really just, you know, doesn't get himself into any trouble. We're happy to see him on the grid tonight as he will be starting from P3. However, the first row will go to Cameron Lopez on pole position with the 109. Valerie will take P2 in the Ferrari. Mike DeYoung, as mentioned, in P3. Alongside him will be Casper, P4. Row number 3 will go to Boriyoshi in P5. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer beside him in P6. Julius Dooku qualifying P7 with... Oh... What is the name of... What is the name of Asteroid? I forget. I'm sorry, Asteroid. You will be starting P8 for this
George
affair.
Knight, sorry.
That is
George Knight.
George. You're right. Andrew Davis holding on after the early retirement will start P9. AJ Knickel and Max Tomberg P10 and 11 respectively. Jamie Knock and Ayrton Frederick with P12 and 13, with Aiden McCarthy rounding out the grid in P14. So, we are set to go here in Monaco.
Gotta love the night race here at Monaco, Alex.
Oh, of course. Great city, of course. Should be mentioned though, kind of a Monaco strikes me very much as a look but don't touch type city. It's pretty to look at from afar. It looks nice on your TV screen with the harbor and the yachts every race weekend. However, not a place that you should ever expect to really be able to get yourself to in any capacity. Average GDP of a Monaco resident is 1.4 million US dollars per year.
Well, somehow FBR managed to get their team headquarters located there.
This is true. ARC team, a team of ARC, Furta Boyce Racing, if you didn't know, is headquartered right along the start-finish straight in Monaco. Taking a look now at the possible race strategies, it looks like hard to medium will be the call for, a few of these drivers, I assume. The game is saying so, but game's never really right. I guess we'll have to just take a look at the tire detail ourselves as we see Cameron Lopez and Valerie both opting to start on the medium compound tires. Mikey DeYoung doing his little
Classic
thing, and
Mikey.
he has a penchant for starting on those hard compound tires and just playing the long game on the leaders when he is not the one on pole position. Rest of the grid, though, is mostly medium tires. Casper and Boriyoshi both starting P4, P5 on mediums. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the odd one out of that group, also starting on hards. Maybe taking notes off Mikey and looking to pull the De Jong maneuver. Mediums all the way down from P7, Julius Dugu, down to P11, Jamie Cavanini. Hard tires for Jamie Knock. Mediums for Ayrton Frederick, and hards once again for Aiden McCarthy.
Yep. The important thing for these drivers is to keep a cool head. A lot of these guys, damage will happen. It's just obviously there's no inherent risk. It is a game, so people take a corner too closely, hit an apex too closely, take a corner too wide, knock the front wing. It's going to be important to keep the car under you and keep a cool head too. It's going to be very hard to pass, so
I'm really interested to see what kind of race Valerie Xaviera will be able to put together here. Starting P2, of course, right alongside Lopez, who himself is an esteemed driver, as mentioned earlier. He's done very well in other series of ARC Formula One. I think this is his first crack at the main series, the America Series, and it's pole position for him at Monaco. Can't ask for much more.
yeah, no heroics in Sandoval.
The red lights are on, and now they are off. It's lights out, and away we go at Monaco. A decent getaway here from Cameron Lopez, but not as good as Valerie, who looks to make the move early, and around the outside she sweeps into the lead of this race with only a corner and a half to spare.
Well, well, well.
Valerie Xaviera. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get used to it. It's a really cool name, I must say, but it's not one that I'm used to saying. Obviously, newcomer to the grid as Mikey
Oh!
DeYoung runs into the back of Cameron Lopez there. Real tight that Williams upon the Red Bull. Mikey DeYoung looking to make moves early on those hard compound tires. He knows that if he can get ahead of this Red Bull and just play defense the rest of the way, he will be on the dominant strategy, being on those hard compound tires. It's just way too tight here at Monaco to really risk it in many places, though. Mikey DeYoung seeing an opportunity and maybe thinking twice, but just a second too late running into the back of that Red Bull of Lopez. Looking further down the field now, Casper making his way up into P4, Boriyoshi in P5 off the start. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer falling a bit, P6 for him. Julius Duku, I think he started in P7 actually in the Aston Martin, so never mind to him. Andrew Davis making up a few positions up to P8. And it's Ayrton James, I feel like, is the biggest loser off that start. Let's take a look at the position change. No, it's just Aiden McCarthy breezing his way through that backfield, up from P14 to P10 in the span of a lap. And here you have
Great
it.
start from the Williams driver. This is where you're gonna see a lot of. You're gonna have a lot of patience. If you're faster than a guy, you're gonna rely on somebody to make a mistake in front of you. Ooh, as we see, who is that? Julius Duke made contact with the wall. Don't think there's any damage, but you never know.
Yeah, never quite know. Might not be visual damage. That's kind of the
Oh,
problem with the game. Oh, and it's a track limits violation being assessed to Cameron Lopez, a 3-second penalty coming his way for it. And that might throw a wrench in his plans as Andrew Davis will
well,
retire. Not sure what happened there. There is no safety car or VSC or any trouble coming from his retirement. Might have been a lag out or a technical issue of some sort. Not sure. Can't imagine it was a crash, though, as we're still going, no problem. Lopez now with the fastest lap, and yeah, he's got some time to make up. He's got to eat away at that penalty that he's now sitting on after only 2 laps onto the third. And the race sort of, settling down at this point. Only 3 laps in, but you're not going to see very much tight racing in small gaps here, as drivers will be making space for each other, knowing that it's just not worth the risk in most cases, being such a tight, slow track.
there is a line forming behind Aiden McCarthy right now.
Oh yeah, Aiden
A little bit
already
of
over
separate.
4.5 seconds off of P8. Aiden himself in P9. But yeah, AJ Knickel, Jamie Cavanini, Jamie Knock, and Ayrton Frederick all right there behind the Williams. There's very few places for a move to be made here. The main one, of course, being the start-finish straight, the only section of this track that is a DRS zone, only one of them here. Can't imagine that AJ Knickel will be looking to wait around behind this Williams for much longer. Oh, as we see something going on with the Williams, he is ghosted for the moment. Maybe having some lag issue, not too sure. However, AJ does make up the place, and now not teammate of AJ, teammate of George Knight.
Ooh, he's in the
Oh,
wall.
he is
Oh.
touching the wall with his front left. Aiden McCarthy dropping a place to Jamie Knock because of it. And oh, unfortunately, Jamie Cavanini, the loser out of that, I feel. He's the one that had to check up, seeing Aiden having trouble directly in front of him. He drops down to P12 with Jamie Knox shooting past the both of them.
Really interesting to see how Aiden had gotten in front of these guys because he is struggling for pace right now. He's just everybody that's behind him is just yeah.
I believe that makes him the furthest driver down the grid with hard compound tires on. It does, as we see another track limits violation being assessed, this time to Julius Dugu, currently running P7. And this should be interesting. It's kind of a, being Monaco, it's kind of a game of how long will it take these drivers to get past Aiden McCarthy. It will be much longer than probably expected anywhere else on the calendar that we race. So,
Cavanini is leaning on him right now, and I
into the
don't blame him.
pits is the Haas of George Knight for a new front wing. Must have had some contact there in the
Oh,
midfield.
yep. There's
Yep, big moves being made as Aiden McCarthy finally is went around by both Jamie Cavanini and Ayrton Frederick. Not too sure exactly what happened. May have been some wheel banging involved, but Aiden the big loser out of that fight.
yeah, it's cost Cavanini bits of the front wing, and considering this track is strictly downforce,
Oh,
that's gonna cost you.
lockups galore here for the Aston of Ayrton Frederick, though. However, not to the advantage of Aiden McCarthy, as he's kind of bumping his way on some of these walls. That left front just finding just about every single wall that he can possibly hit as he makes his way through Sector 2. Through the
Cameron
chicane they
Lopez
go.
is all over the back of Valerie right now, and it's
Oh, had a thought of going up the inside there into the first corner, but backs out of it. Will just hold station for now. However, this is the closest battle on track at the moment, the battle for the lead. Both these drivers maneuvering their way through this tight, twisty track with just such precision that can only be expected out of a small portion of this grid. This is really a make it or break it kind of track. This isn't one where you can expect to do well regardless of your skill and your handling of the car. You really need to be on it. You gotta know the car and know exactly what's expected of you to do well here at Monaco.
You can't have a moment of a lapse of judgment
Not
whatsoever.
even
You're
one.
not afforded.
Even the smallest lapse of judgment will end your day in most cases going around here. Or night, I suppose, in this case, being a Monaco night race. I would love to see it. But yes, this Red Bull all over the back of Valerie I'm looking again. Sorry, Lewis. Xaviera. It's so much easier when I actually say it out loud. However, my brain just hasn't been able to put it all together thus far. Soon enough it will, though. I mean, at this pace, if Valerie's going to be fighting for the win like this, I'll have to know the name. What do you see, Bill?
It's just Cameron getting a huge bit of oversteer coming out of the end of the retroposta.
Yeah, these three real tight. A few moments, a few twitches there from Cameron Lopez has pulled Mikey de Jong right back into the fray. Cameron dropping a few tenths to Valerie because of it. Mikey de Jong gaining a few tenths because of it. Casper should be mentioned. Casper Solamre.
Oh! Cameron's in the wall.
Yeah, big touch there on the right side for the Red Bull. Recovers nicely. Not too sure if there's anything going on there. Maybe suspension issues or whatnot.
He's pitting.
He will be ducking into the pits, it looks like, potentially for a new front wing?
Yep.
It will be a new front wing. Oh. Unfortunate for him. Yep. Mikey de Jong getting the tap on the shoulder. You're up, kid. Chasing down that Ferrari. Cameron Lopez, I mean, from bad to worse. After getting that track limits penalty on only the second lap, that is 3 seconds that he will have to be penalized for, regardless of his finishing position.
Like I said, Alex, you got to keep a cool head.
Yes, only cooler heads prevail on a track like Monaco, as Mikey de Jong will do his best now, staying within a second of Valerie Xaviera. Potentially, with some DRS assistance, might get quite a bit closer as they make their way through the final bit into Sector 3 now. Ooh, bit of a touch there.
DRS even helps here, to be honest.
I'm not sure if it's a network thing that's going on or if it's actually happening. However, most of these drivers that I'm viewing on boards of it, it appears their cars are giving light touches to the wall on most of these corners. Not many seeming to have figured it out. Either that being the case or just the game kind of being weird for me. Apologies either way. Thankfully, though, we do have game audio, so just want to shout out Codemasters for getting about 4% of the workload correct. And it is George Knight, it looks like, getting assessed the next track limits violation. And I gotta be honest, there's only a few select places on this track that you can really pick up such a penalty. However, drivers thus far seem to be finding them.
Yeah, the only other option is wing damage. Take 3 seconds over a 7-second pit stop.
Yeah, can't argue that at all. Mikey de Jong a bit closer on this attempt, right up into the rear of Valerie. However, he will duck out a bit. Some slight contact between the wing and the rear end of that Ferrari. Not enough to unsettle either car, though.
That was as close as you want to get, I'll tell you that. But this is what he's got to do. He's got to make sure he stays on the back of her here, make sure that she feels the pressure, force her to make a mistake, take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, just given the strategies they're both on, of course, with Valerie Xaviera on the medium compound tires, Mikey DeYoung opting for the hard compound tires off the start, he's really just got to wait it out. He doesn't have to push too hard because he knows regardless she's going to have to duck out of his way one moment or another later in the race. Lap 10, so that moment may be coming sooner rather than later anyway. Of course, being such a slow speed track for most of the lap.
Oh, and Julius Dooku is out.
Oh, I believe he's crashed out,
Same
has he?
spot
Same
as
spot as Andrew
Andrew
Davis?
Davis.
Oh, no,
Yes.
yeah, right on the tail end of that chicane in Sector 2. Oh, and that is a day done for the Aston driver. All the eggs are in the basket of Ayrton Frederick for a good team finish now, currently racing P9.
The hit for CL7.
So, two down, and thankfully, no safety cars or stoppages because of it.
Mikey still continuing to work, continuing to make his presence known. All the while, they're both pulling away from Casper, but Boryoshi's closing in, and what do you know? Jonathan Jergensmeyer right there with him.
Yeah, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the silent assassin, time and again. Mikey DeYoung, the next one to be assessed with a track limits violation. He picks up his own 3-second penalty. Oh, and that may change the dynamic of these situations just a bit. Maybe not too much, but I don't know. It'll be an interesting dynamic come the end of the race, of course, with them on different strategies.
Everybody that's tried to attack Valerie has just wound up with a. Oh, Mikey DeYoung really forcing
Oh,
the issue
yeah,
here.
and he really doesn't need to. Wow, that's the interesting
I
thing.
mean, he really does now with that penalty. It changes everything. He has to get ahead. He has to make a gap.
Lopez, of course, was in the position of De Jong about 6 laps ago or so, looking to storm his way back up to the podium contention. Currently P6 as he puts in the fastest lap of the race thus far.
Still early days here in this race. Not even close. We're about just over a quarter of the way through. Two retirements. Andrew Davis, Julius Dooku, both retiring just in the same spot, pretty much, just on different occasions.
Only 3 real bona fide battles going on track at the moment, of course. That for the lead of this race between De Jong and Xaviera, as well as Jonathan Jurgensmeyer making his way right up into the rear of Boryoshi for P4. Another battle, Jamie Knock looking to take P10 from Aiden
Alex,
McCarthy as
they're
he
side by
does.
side up the hill for the lead.
And who will get the best of it here? Oh, contact there, not sure actually. Maybe the game just being weird. However, it's Mikey DeYoung getting the best of that situation as he does make his way past Valerie for the lead of this race.
He muscled his way into Sandoval. It was a drag race up the hill that ultimately he won out on. Now he's just got to extend that gap. Seems like he has a lot of pace in that Williams, so looking to stretch his legs here.
Things starting to shape up, at least to some degree. Casper, quite an uphill battle if he's looking to catch these two leaders. However, kind of squarely onto the podium, he finds himself now with a 3-second gap in either direction, both ahead and behind. Jurgensmeyer, however, looking to make that move on Boryoshi sooner rather than later. He's been stuck right behind him for the last 3 laps or so. Oh,
Valerie gets deep into the wall there.
question being, is there wing damage? It does not appear to be. There's no visual damage. However, there could always be damage that just does not replicate for everybody in the lobby viewing. Car may be having its own trouble as Valerie is falling well behind Mikey DeYoung now, gap nearly 2 seconds. And it might be time for a pit stop off of those medium compound tires that Valerie opted to start the race on. I think that's kind of what she's planning for, understands the situation to some extent. Guess we shall see. Mikey DeYoung, he's off and running at this point. As mentioned, nearly 2 seconds the gap. Valerie will not opt to duck into the pits here on lap 14. Will cross the line and take lap 15 for at least one more time around.
See if Casper can reel her in here.
Yeah, plenty of time to be made up here by that Mercedes duo. Of course, not really fighting too hard with each other. A bit of a gap between them, however. Any blood in the water will be smelt and dealt with promptly here at a track like Monaco.
Cameron Lopez is quickly catching the back of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Boryoshi. And we saw how his patience level was before. He's gonna have to keep a better head this time around.
Yeah, this is take two for Cameron Lopez as far as front wings are concerned. He's hoping to keep this one to the end of the race if possible. Closest battle on track appears to still be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the tail end of the Mercedes of Boryoshi, fighting their way for P4. Boryoshi doing well to keep his elbows out. He's taking the exact lines necessary, it seems, to keep Jurg at bay for now. However, the battle, as mentioned, has pulled Cameron Lopez right back onto the tail end of both of them, gaining about a second and a half just in the last half a lap or so, Cameron Lopez.
Yeah, he is on fresher tires. Big lockups in front.
Jurg taking a look now at the ERS charge, and Jurg and Cameron Lopez both with plenty of battery to deploy if any move comes their way. It's Boryoshi who's kind of looking to be in a bit of a tough situation, just playing defense so hard on the both of them.
Oh, this is...
Lopez looking to make the move on Jurgensmeyer now, getting right up into the rear of that Alpine.
Oh, and he's hit the
Oh,
inside.
bit of contact there as it seems that Boryoshi will duck his way into the pits, leave them off to run on their own, relinquishing P4. Now going to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as we see a big twitch there from Cameron Lopez, rear end stepping out quite far. Recovers it nicely and still in the fight here with Jurgensmeyer. The only notable battle on track besides maybe that of Jamie Knock and Ayrton Frederick for P9. The only other gap under 1 second.
Cameron doesn't look like he wants to be patient still.
I can't imagine he would. Of course, he's on a redemption run here after having to pit early for the front wing change, opting for the hard compound tires, which Jonathan Jurgensmeyer started the race on. Cameron Lopez's tires being about 3 laps fresher, I want to say.
Oh no.
Oh, up the
Yeah.
inside he goes, and he
Yeah.
makes the move stick. Wow, what a move there right at the end of Sector 3.
Jurg got the rear tire into the wall and saw Cameron jump up the inside. And Jurg was smart and realized his race isn't with Cameron, just let him go, which is smart. It's going to help both their races in the long run. Obviously, Jurgensmeyer was in a battle with Borioshi. Borioshi pit. He's going to be on fresher tires, so probably smart for Jurgensmeyer to stay behind Cameron and just follow him through.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, just sticking to Cameron, getting the DRS assistance when it comes, will keep Jurgensmeyer further ahead than he would have been without Lopez. So it's a win-win, I suppose. Two more track limits violations being assessed here. Penalties doled out to both Jamie Cavanini and Aiden McCarthy, P13 or P11 and P12 respectively.
Yeah. AJ Kaneko lets Borioshi just scoot on by. Is it just permanent smoke coming down that one part of the track heading towards the Lowe's hairpin?
Yeah, kind of weird. I don't know if the game is playing tricks on me or what, but I do see that smoke as well.
It's just always there. Excuse me, from the front locks.
See, yeah, seems pretty hard to believe that literally every driver on the grid is locking up in that one spot. So,
There
probably just a game.
is quite a bit of rubber laid down. I go to step away to get a drink, Alex.
Go right ahead.
Listen to your beautiful voice.
First half of this race in the books, just about. I mean, kind of quietly went by this first half. Felt a bit quicker than I expected. Of course, being Monaco, we were expecting plenty of trouble. Safety cars galore, drivers into the wall, everything that you can think of, you name it, we were expecting it. I was expecting this to be like a 2-hour race, not gonna lie. However, we are about 45 minutes in and over halfway. So it seems that drivers have found their groove, at least to some extent. The race has settled down somewhat. There are a few gaps here and there that are worth a battle. Of course, that of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer now into the rear of Casper Solamre. I believe that's how you say it. Fight for P4, the closest on track at the moment as we see Valerie Xaviera ducking into the pits from P2. What will it be? The hard compound from here on out for Valerie. Racing her way back up onto the podium, she will. As well, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer into the pits, opting for the medium compound tires, of course, just a one-to-one swap from his hards. That seems to be kind of the move here. You either start on hard switch to medium, or you start on medium switch to hard, barring any trouble from here on out. These are the tires that I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be expecting to finish the race on. However, 19 laps, quite a tall task for those medium compound tires, even being Monaco. Just the way that the game is designed with tire wear and everything taken into consideration, those medium tires really fall off right after about the 12th or 13th lap. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, uphill battle from here, back to P6 on the re-entry after his pit stop. But I can't imagine that he's looking to make these tires last. He must be banking on some trouble happening late in the race, because he will most likely have to duck his way back into the pits for another tire swap.
Casper stayed out for 19 laps on the medium tires.
Oh, did he?
Not too far. Yeah, he's still out there. Same with AJ Kaneko, Ayrton Frederick as well. So it's doable. The question I have is, has Cameron Lopez taken too much out of his hard compound tires? Only 11 seconds back, so whenever Mikey de Jong has to pit, he will relinquish the lead to Cameron, but it's just a matter of how much life did he take out of those tires.
Both of them, of course, sitting upon 3-second penalties for track limits violations, so kind of cancels each other out, doesn't really come into play very much. I mean, unless something major happens to either one as the race goes on, but yeah, I feel like Cameron Lopez probably took quite a bit out of his tires as he was storming his way back up the grid. As you remember, he rejoined the field in P7 and fought his way tooth and nail back up to P2. A few pit stops in front of him kind of helped him out. However, he was chunking those tires for sure.
He just slapped the left rear off the barricade.
He did, too. Yeah. Only gap on track currently that is under 1 second is the fight for P7 between George Knight and AJ Knickel as we take a peek at Mikey de Jong. making his way back out onto track from the lead. He will rejoin in P3, opting for those medium compound tires, and only 16 and a half laps that he has to squeeze out of them, as opposed to the 19 that we saw with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. So,
And Casper's still out on track.
yeah, interesting choice for that Mercedes, I must say. 22 laps on those tires. Medium compound. Let's take a look at how old they are. Yet to
21
stop,
laps.
yeah. One of only 4 drivers, it looks like, yet to stop. The others being AJ Knickel, P8, and then Ayrton Frederick and Aiden McCarthy, P10 and 11, respectively.
Cameron's gonna want Casper to stay out for just maybe a couple more laps to just hold up Mikey. Never mind, Mikey's going for it now.
And he does make it happen. Mikey DeYoung up the inside on Casper as they make their way through the end of Sector 2. Williams back up onto, well, I mean, he was already on the podium. However, back up into P2.
Deeper into the podium. Blue flag, blue flag.
Yeah, now caught up right on the rear of Jamie Cavanini, it looks like, driving straight through his car, as a
Oh
matter of
boy.
fact. As we see another fastest lap laid down, this time by the Ferrari of Valerie Xaviera. Oh, Valerie making her way past Casper now for P3. She's back up onto the podium, storming her way back up.
Yeah, an excellent debut race for her. At least as far as I know, it's a debut race, but
Yeah, not too sure her history in ARC thus far. However, first race of this season that we've seen her out on track, and it seems like this is a name that we're going to have to learn and remember soon enough, given this performance. Just a great race from her so far. Back up onto the podium, and I mean, the world is hers at this point. She has plenty of life in those hard compound tires to try to chase down Mikey DeYoung and maybe even Cameron Lopez off of this. Mikey
yeah,
doing...
Mikey DeYoung on those mediums though is gonna be hard to beat. You know Cameron's gonna defend like a lion, but Mikey DeYoung is inevitable.
Both of them, as mentioned, sitting on equal penalties, 3 seconds for track limits violations, so will kind of cancel each other out. The only thing that really comes into play with that is how close Valerie can get to the both of them.
That's something I didn't think about, and I should have. Oh, he has closed that gap exponentially in the last lap.
Who's that, Mikey?
Yeah.
Yeah, gap now hovering right over 1.5 seconds. And the chase is on with about 15.5 laps left to go here in Monaco. And this is it. It's kind of a cat and mouse chase from here. Is Cameron Lopez, of course, in the lead of this race. However, it's becoming very quickly a question of how much longer as Mikey DeYoung cuts that lead down to about 1 second on the start-finish straight.
You can catch him, but pass him's gonna be another thing. He's gonna have to have to be well timed. It's finally Casper pits.
Oh, and you know, the I don't remember which race it was last season, but Alex Albon with the
Ooh,
cracking stint on his medium compound tires IRL, going about 42 laps, I believe, on them. That's
I believe
basically the
that was
equivalent.
Australia where he pit on the last lap, and it was the hard compound
Yes, that is
tires.
the yeah. Thank you. That was the one.
Cameron's rears. He's locking him up. Oh,
Oh, Mikey. Oh my
oh, he's in
goodness,
the wall.
contact. Wow,
Oh
and
no!
oh, is it the Ferrari? Oh no. Beached, crashed? It looks like a crash for Valerie Xaviera. Oh, from P3, storming her way back up the grid. Her night is
Our
over,
safety car's
unfortunately.
off.
It doesn't appear she was on the track. She was beached on the chicane. She was off the racing circuit, or the
Oh,
racing
here we
surface, I'm
go.
sorry. Yeah, Mikey DeYoung making the move here. Up
Wow.
into the lead of this race, Cameron Lopez relinquishing, kind of understanding the situation. I'm sure he saw how fast Mikey DeYoung was creeping up on him and just kind of, read the room on that one. Didn't seem like there was much of a fight put up there. He made it tough, but not
Oh,
necessarily impossible. Mikey DeYoung up into the lead of this race, and Cameron Lopez, his tires must be
Jonathan
crying.
Jurgensmeyer and Boryoshi are side by side. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer got past Boryoshi to get the final podium spot back.
For now, that battle will be very tight from here on out. Of course, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the better racing compound, however. Medium to Boryoshi's hard compound choice.
Casper, who's had pace all day on the softs, but 17 seconds behind him, so I don't know about that one.
Oh, and I mean, just the definition of heartbreak there for Valerie, I must say. Racing
Yeah.
so well all night thus far, and then just over in an instant. But it goes right back to what Billy said about 15 laps ago, how even one single lapse in judgment can be the end of it, no matter who you are, no matter where on the grid you are.
And all she had to say in the chat was, oops. Got more yellow flags. I believe that's just lap cars moving out of the way. I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, man, just unfortunate. She's got great pace, and we, of course, will be watching her career with great interest. However, things
Absolutely palpable to Alex. I couldn't agree more. Oh, is that
things
another
kind
driver
of
who's had it
settling their
off?
way down there. Oh, is that a Haas? It looks like Jamie Cavanini kind of stuck there in that chicane in sector 2 for a moment. Does get going again.
That is a lap car. It's just kind of getting in. Oh no! Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's out of this
Oh
race.
no, and the
VSC
dominoes are
deployed.
falling. Yes, our first stoppage will be a VSC for cleanup of that Alpine. Oh, racing along now with Casper to see if he'll be coming up on the scene of the crime soon enough for us to see what exactly happened. It does not appear that we will get a view of it, but it is that same exact chicane that Valerie just crashed out of. That Sector 2 chicane just starting to cause problems
Leaders,
as tires are falling off.
leaders pitting.
Yes, Cameron Lopez into the pits for the soft compound tires as well as Boryoshi. Oh no, it's the mediums for Boryoshi.
Sasha Cameron, but this is only a VSC, and that's gonna put Mikey DeYoung 21 seconds up the road.
Yes, it is. Not as much time um, saved on the pit stop for a VSC, of course, as opposed to a full safety car. So, wow, just uphill battles all across the grid now. Cameron Lopez 22 seconds behind he finds himself, with Casper 14 behind Cameron, currently holding on to that final podium position. However, Boryoshi, teammate, will be looking to have a say in that if possible.
Apologies for having to mute my mic. I am leaking.
Oh, looks like... Hello, NP. Want to say what's up? Good evening. Thanks for joining us for this race. Asking about how you can get your own chance to participate. That's a really good question. And if
I'll
you
take care of
do,
that.
my cohort here, Billy, alongside in the booth, will probably drop you a link or something in the chat. But if he doesn't, I just want to mention, if you head over to the website simleaguepro.com, you'll be able to find our league there and join up and register for whatever series and whatever game that you may be interested in racing. Be alongside all these drivers on the grid whenever the time may come.
Yep.
It's a full database and leaderboard basically of everything we do here in this league, and you can find the Discord that we schedule and arrange everything in there, and you'll be
Links in
all
the
set if you
description.
go to that. Yep.
Links in the description down below for our Twitter, Instagram, Discord,
This is
Facebook,
true as
YouTube,
well. Yeah, all the
TikTok,
links
all
into
of
the description will be your main source of information for this league. If any of you are looking to get your own participation in, Yeah,
I
Tyler,
don't think
good point
Mikey
being made there by Tyler
is gonna
Crabtree.
be.
Sidelined for the evening. Really thankful that he's able to stick it out for his team though and watch the race. Not sure what he's up to, but we want to thank him for being along for the ride regardless. What's up, Tyler? P3, P4 for his team at the moment. In fact, his stand-in driver for the evening is in the final podium position. Great race thus far from Casper. As we see
Oh
another big
no!
crash there from Aiden McCarthy right ahead of Casper, and another VSC will be deployed because of it. Oh, another stoppage as we come down to the wire. I'll be totally honest, these are the incidents that I was expecting early on in the race, but now they're just falling like dominoes at the end.
Yeah. As it stands now, everybody that finishes will be awarded points. It's still not going to help Cameron. He's on the soft tire, but not going to be able to. That gap is a little bit insurmountable.
Yeah, VSC, not a full safety car. As Mikey DeYoung will make his way into the pits off those mediums, can only imagine that he's got a set of scrub soft that he's been waiting on. And if, oh man, if Jonathan Jurgensmeyer was still in this race, he would be the one to keep eyes on. Of course, with those medium compounds that he opted to go on lap 20, I believe, 10 laps ago, with 19 still to go. I would have been interested to see what call he made in this scenario. However, unfortunate situation for him also crashing out. P11 it will be. And as mentioned,
Mikey
all...
DeYoung, I mean, sorry. Yeah, Mikey DeYoung pit, Cameron pit, Casper pit, Boriyoshi's pitting. I mean, might as well, right?
Yeah, just about everybody. The leaders, everybody from P1 to P4, ducking their way into the pits, and it looks like a front wing change for Casper as well.
It says virtual safety car, but the safety car is in fact on track,
Oh,
Alex.
it is.
This is going to change a lot of things here
Oh,
because of those 3-second penalties for those guys in the front.
however,
Casper is going to be in a very good position. We know he has the pace.
yes, he will, as well as Cameron Lopez. If we are to expect this to be a full safety car deployment, which it appears to be, as Mikey DeYoung does catch the rear of the safety car now. Not sure why the leaderboard still says VSC. However, it is a full safety car. Cameron Lopez and Casper both poised to strike. Mike DeYoung,
Well,
though, of course, ducking in for his soft compound tires. However, I believe this is a scrubbed set. I don't believe he had a fresh set.
nope, everybody's on 0 lap old softs in the top 4. But my point is, Cameron and Mikey both have 3-second penalties, and Casper does not.
Oh, yes. See, it was you forgetting earlier. It is me forgetting now. That
Yeah, the
will
whole
certainly
complexion
come
of the
into play.
race just kind of changed. Oh, and much like an Abu Dhabi 2021, AJ's favorite subject, we're gonna have lap cars in between Mikey and Cameron here.
Yeah, it looks like it. I believe that is George Knight. Is it? Or is it... It is Jamie Cavanini, who will be splitting the leaders as the back marker. He will have to make space when the time comes. It's just a question of how much time will Cameron Lopez lose because of it? How much time will Casper gain because of it?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
interesting
this
scenario here is most of the grid ducking their way into the pits, so we will be behind the safety car for another lap. Expected to get going for lap 34.
it goes Mikey DeYoung, lap car, Cameron Lopez, lap car, Casper, lap car, Boriyoshi, AJ. Oh boy.
Shades of Abu Dhabi 2021. And yeah, this is how it will remain. There will be no lapped cars making their way around the safety car to catch the tail end of the pack
Oh,
here.
the lap cars moved out of the way for first and second, but not for third. In fact, they've
Oh,
stacked up in front of third.
it looks like it, yeah. I think
Are you watching the stream in the background?
there should be some kind of clause in the rules about making way for at least the top three, the podium contenders. I don't think it's a great idea here to leave Casper hung out to dry like this with a lapped car in front of him. However, it will make things interesting and entertaining nonetheless. Not great for those on track, but great for us off track. And yes, NP, you know, I'm feeling it too. That is so not right.
That is, it's I'm not sure why the Haas moved out of the way for Cameron, but they didn't move out of the way for for Casper here.
Yeah,
I might have a bit of bias here,
this
but
car that we're looking back at from the rear view of Cameron Lopez is a lapped vehicle, as well as the car behind Boryoshi. Oh no, I'm sorry, the car behind Casper, between Casper and Boryoshi, is also a lapped car. It will be on the go of Mikey DeYoung as he gets away, but Lopez reads it pretty well. And it is
oh,
just
there's
them. Oh,
already
the
a
lapped car does not read the start
1.5
well at all,
second.
and he is crashing his way out of this race, it looks like. Off the restart, the Haas not able to get it going very well, and ends up sideways for his troubles, it seems.
Oh no, the Haas in between Casper and Cameron's still there. That's You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. He's just racing the leaders. You're not
For
allowed to do that.
no apparent reason, all he is doing is holding up Casper, who does finally make his way through that lapped car. However, it's set him back about half a lap with not many to go. Could be the difference here, as Lopez picks himself up another track limits violation. That is now a 6-second penalty that he will be sitting on come the end of this race. Oh, and that could spell doom for the Red Bull, I'm not going to lie. That would drop him down to P5, I believe, at the moment. As he does lay down a purple sector through Sector 3 there on that previous lap. Number 35 of 39 we currently find ourselves on, and it's crunch time. It is game on from here. Mikey DeYoung doesn't even really need to fight that hard any charge that Cameron Lopez may try to put on him, now that
Well,
Lopez is sitting on.
Casper is still within 2.4 seconds, so technically Casper would have the lead of this race. And I mean, someone's gonna have a look at what that lap car did there. That's just
Oh,
it's insane.
this has turned into such an interesting racing dynamic, though, because although it may look like Mikey DeYoung and Cameron Lopez are currently fighting for the lead, it's really Casper that may benefit out of all of this if he can stay close enough. Lopez, I think, kind of understanding the situation at this point, will not be able to fight for the win given his penalty, but he just has to outrace as much of it as he can. Currently, given the gaps on the grid, the penalty assessment would drop Lopez down to P3, Casper moving up. Jamie Knock not able to benefit at all from this situation. However, things may change. It's been a request to view the penalty assessments, and It is Cameron Lopez, P2 with 6 seconds. Mike DeYoung, our leader, with 3. 3 also to Ayrton James in P8. However, 6 seconds for Jamie Cavanini, P7, and another 9 seconds for George Knight, currently P9. However, every spot left on the grid at this point is a point scoring position, so penalties be damned, I suppose.
And look
Yeah,
at
this
Jamie
will be.
Knock up there in P4.
I see Jamie Knock may very well throw a wrench into this situation as well. Jamie Knock is Fred the Red in the Ferrari, for those who may not be aware. That 6-second penalty that Cameron Lopez is currently sitting upon, though, as you can see on the timing board, it might spell doom. It might change so many dynamics of this race and of this final podium.
I actually don't think that'll really affect Cameron. P4 is 12 seconds back from them, so
It looks like, yes, given the current situation, it would only be a swap of P2 and P3. Mikey DeYoung would hold on for the win, as he is more than 3 seconds ahead of Casper, of course. However, Casper would gain a position so long as he can stay within 6 seconds of Lopez. Boryoshi, if he's able to make up any time here, currently finding himself about 8.5 seconds behind teammate Casper. If he's able to cut down that gap by any margin, really, he might have his own shot of a P3 finish, with Lopez getting dropped down to P4. Here we are on the penultimate lap of this race, though, here in Monaco, and it's always a special night in Monaco. Everybody knows it's the one, it's the crown jewel of the Formula One calendar. Every driver will tell you they will trade any championship they have won just to win Monaco. You've heard it plenty from who was it? Nico Rosberg famously said so. He would trade his sole championship just for a Monaco win if he had the choice.
yeah, I would never.
It's the crown jewel, man. It's the one. It's the Super Bowl of Formula One.
And
Mikey
those who
DeYoung,
aren't familiar, Nico Rosberg is the gentleman who beat Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery.
equal machinery, make it very clear. Mikey DeYoung making his way through the penultimate corner. Now the final corner of Monaco. He will be coming across the line a second and a half ahead of Cameron Lopez, but of course penalties will have a role to play here as he crosses the line to take the final lap, still about 1.7 seconds ahead. Oh, and Casper falling a bit now. Oh, it looks like the gap is hovering right around 6 seconds from him to Mikey DeYoung. So he will not be getting a chance at the win here. However, he's well within range to move up a position over Cameron Lopez, given Lopez's penalty assessments. But of course, I mean, should be mentioned, as always, there's a whole stewardship process and appeals process that drivers are welcome to participate in and encouraged to participate in. If they feel they've been assessed a penalty unfairly, drivers are always encouraged to appeal it, and the stewards will decide themselves. So the results of the race are never quite what they seem, as we see a pit lane exit penalty being assessed. That time to, I believe, George Knight. 2 seconds nearly is the gap as Mikey DeYoung crosses the line for the provisional win of this race. Cameron Lopez, provisional P2, as Casper crosses within 6 seconds of Lopez and does manage to advance a position given the penalty. Boryoshi will be the next to cross the line, P4 for the Mercedes, and wow, what a great day for that FBR team. Jamie Knock across the line in P5. AJ Knickel will be making his way through the chicane of Sector 2, so quite a bit behind, actually. Oh, yeah, 30 seconds behind. Sorry, I did not see quite a bit of space between most of the rest of the drivers as we go down the grid. AJ Knickel, the only driver yet to cross the line now as he weaves his way through the final section. Start finish straight he takes now and over the line for P6. But there you have it, folks. Penalties definitely coming into play towards the end of the race. Two virtual safety cars, one of them turning into a full safety car, and just, oh, the dominoes started falling late. As I said time and again, I was really expecting drivers to not be comfortable. At the beginning of this race, I was expecting early trouble, early safety cars, but they all just kind of piled on late. And Mikey de Jong making the most of it. Championship leader Nico Pichet not on the grid tonight, and Mikey de Jong taking advantage of that. The rest of the podium will be Casper Salamra. I believe that's how you say it. And Casper, if I've been saying your last name wrong this whole time, my apologies, of course. I will be corrected soon enough. He will take P2 in this Monaco Grand Prix, though, with Cameron Lopez holding on for P3, even given his penalty situation. And wow, what an interesting race here in Monaco, I must say. I was expecting things to really settle down, drivers kind of being too cautious and giving each other a lot of space, knowing that any mistake could end their night. However, some of them really just went for it, and some of them paid the price, some of them did not. Some of them came out the better man for it. Or woman, apologies to Valerie. Of course, great introductory race in the ARC Formula One series for her. However, ended just a bit too soon, I feel. Taking a look now at the grid, though, it's Mikey de Jong coming away with the win. Casper holding on for P2, given the penalty situation. Cameron Lopez falling to P3 because of it, rounding out the podium. Boryoshi, teammate of Casper, in the Mercedes taking home P4. Jamie Knock making his way up to P5. Great race from him, silently. Bit of a race that we would expect from someone like Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Jamie Knock up into P5. AJ Knickel making his way up to P6. Jamie Cavanini and Ayrton Frederick will take home P7 and P8 together. George Knight will hold on for P9. The last finisher, I believe. The rest of the drivers were DNFs. Aidan McCarthy, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Valerie Xaviera, Julius Dugu, and Andrew Davis rounding out the rest of the grid.
Yep, just trying to see if I can get Casper in here. Do a podium interview, but
Just waiting at the moment. We've got a few drivers celebrating with their teams, giving the handshakes out and whatnot, just waiting for them to make their way to the microphone for a quick interview.
unfortunately we can't get a hold of Cameron. Cameron is on PlayStation, so
Well, I mean, so are we.
I mean, I said the wrong thing. PC. Sorry.
Uh, uh, uh.
Yeah, that's my bad. Apologies.
I think that leaves only one then.
Yeah, I said Casper, friend request and an invite, but not sure if it'll stick. Either way, I just
Get started with Mikey. I'll try to get him in.
yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry, just had to. Anyways, Mikey DeYoung, P3 to P1. It was a tough race. Had to show a lot of patience throughout there, but kept it clean and walk us through your Monaco GP win.
Yeah, well, I mean, my qualifying wasn't the best, and knowing that I had to do something different in the race and start on the hards compared to the others, and I knew that I had better pace than the two in front, but I just couldn't make the move until Karen made a mistake and hit the wall. That was the point I was able to attack the Ferrari, but. Once I passed the Ferrari, I was able to drive away about 4 or 5 seconds, and it was basically a free pit stop for me when he when he or she pitted. So so yeah, from that point, it's just keeping the pace and not really making any mistakes. and keeping the gap between me and Cameron on the 11 or 12-second mark when the safety car came out. It worked perfectly to pit for the softs and go to the end. So yeah, great race.
Well, Mikey, this race win puts you back in the lead of the championship, a place that you're very familiar with. Uh, Obviously, there's the element of Nico Pichet. Uh, what can you do going forward through the season and bring the battle to him when he's on track with you?
I mean, when he's on track, he's out of my league. Let's just say that. So there's no point for me fighting him. He has his own way. But I will try to make it as hard as possible. And when he isn't racing, then those are my chances to get close and overtake him in the championship. So I will take this as my opportunity to win.
Well, as of right now, man, you are the championship leader. So, congrats on another win, and way to keep your head cool out race.
Yes, thank you.
Of
Now,
course, we're
Alex.
unable to get a few of the podium finishers in, but we do have a few more drivers that have something to say about their race. Bill, if you want to take it away.
I didn't see where these people finished because I was too busy trying to send an invite to Casper.
I
So,
believe AJ, you finished P5, did you?
I think I was sixth,
Six.
but
Okay.
close enough.
Yeah.
AJ,
Hi.
how we doing?
Uh, I mean, I've been better, I've been worse. It was a pretty intense race, and
How was that
happy to.
AlphaTauri, buddy?
It's something. Something that my hands anyway. I know all the cars are equal, but clearly the drivers aren't, or I'd have been up there a little further.
But you kept it clean. I didn't see any incidents I could think of. You had a little bit of trouble there. There
Oh,
was
there
that.
were incidents.
Yeah, I saw at the beginning you kind of got mired back behind Aiden in the Williams there. It's probably very frustrating. It seemed like he was very off the pace with those hards. But you stayed patient, found opportunities, snuck by, and kind of just, guess you kept chipping away until you found where you were.
I mean, yeah, I'll elaborate on that pass a bit. I snuck by as an understatement. He was lagging really badly. I actually phased through him. I was just driving behind him, and then uh, next thing he went clear, and then dropped back like probably 10 meters or so, and next thing his front wing was in my like rear wing, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take it. I figured he'd phase back ahead of me. It was just a spike, but like I don't know, he just never did. So I was like, okay, I'll just drive through and go away. Um, it was nice though, cause I got held out like 10 seconds from it, and I got past at the start because I was trying to let the Haas in front of me cycle into the line going into the hairpins into the single file. I wasn't trying to push anybody up, and this friggin' Williams does me around the outside. It was a good move, but then then he couldn't keep up. So like, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
we
one
were
of those
wondering.
things.
He went from last on, got his way up into the P13 out of nowhere. We were just like, whoa.
Yeah, no,
But
he had a
I
great
guess,
start. He just didn't have any pace after the start.
well, either way, man, good race, solid result. Way to keep chipping at it.
Yeah, I'm
P5,
happy
did you
with it.
think coming in was or P6? Did you think you were gonna achieve that, or was that just you're happy with this?
I'm happy with the result. I always look forward to Monaco because like typically the results here come, and I'm pretty happy with this place. I've missed out on a couple wins here. I've got a couple of wins here. I feel pretty good every time we come here, but um, yeah, the qualifying was bad. I just couldn't get a lap together. Kind of stunted it from the start, and to come away with P6 after everything, I think it shows Monaco's just kind of one of those tracks. It's a lot different than the rest, and the skill set's completely different. It's more of a patience thing, and you can come away with a really good result if you just stay patient and keep your head about you the entire race.
Well, congrats on a good race, man.
Thank you.
Is that Boryoshi?
Believe it is.
Boryoshi, we saw you in an absolutely heated battle with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer there in the midpoint of the race. Fortunately, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer retired. But walk us through your race. Did you finish P4?
Yeah, I finished fourth.
All right, P4.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I suck around Monaco and I I hate it. So I didn't have like high expectations coming in. My plan was just to survive. I knew I was going to be able to keep up with the guys right at the front. So hoping there was a little bit of chaos. And honestly, it was going to plan, except for on the VSC, I decided to pit, which in hindsight I shouldn't have. Because then when the CSC came out, I was behind my teammate. He then got fresh tires, also got a new front wing, which I wasn't anticipating. So I ended up behind a bunch of back markers, which caused chaos on the restart. So I'll still take P4 though. Yeah, all in all, given it was Monaco.
Saw a real interesting battle with you and I believe that was Jamie Knock going up the hill there. It looked pretty sketchy, but you guys came away clean from that. There's a lot of tight racing. Everybody was genuinely clean. So good job, man. Couldn't get your teammate who reserved onto into the interviews. Didn't accept it. So you wanna speak on his behalf?
I thought he ran a good race. He had an interesting strategy for the first stint. He just like stayed out.
23
Uh,
laps.
23.
yeah. So we all everyone that was racing around him like caught him back up until he like and then he pitted. I guess the SC kind of bailed him out, but he raced a good race. He had good pace, so good to get a result for FBR.
Hey. Well, congrats to everybody. Alex, walk us out.
Yeah, a home race for
Minors.
FBR should be mentioned yet again. Great finish for them. But of course, it is that time. We want to give a big shout out to DiveBomb Motorsport, the premier partner of Auto Racing Connected. Been with us since the beginning, the reason for all of this existing in the first place. They recently revamped a lot of their website and renewed their relationship with ARC. A lot of really cool things happening because of it. Make sure you check out the DiveBomb website and see some of the new stuff they got going on over there. Next, we want to thank SimLeaguePro.com, sponsoring the fastest lap this year. ARC's league management partner, of course, that is where we check the leaderboards, that is where we check all the metadata for any given series. Anything going on in ARC, you can usually find information on in SimLeague Pro. Want to thank them for just working as hard as they do with ARC and everything that we're able to make happen with them. SimRat Market, iRacing's largest marketplace of professional level liveries. This is where we draw a lot of the templates for the iRacing series from. It's just such a great source for all kinds of custom paint jobs and liveries if you're looking to get something nice and fresh for your iRacing. IMB Racewear we want to give a big shout out to, our Sim Racing apparel sponsor. Sim Racing gloves, boots, and plenty more. If you check out their website, I'm sure you'll find something you like there. The Racing Rats, the Assetto Corsa modding partner of ARC. Great mods that they put out. I actually had my own chance to try some of them recently, and I must say the work that they do is just great for their own selves. The work that they do with ARC is great. High quality, free mods, works closely with us to host incredible Assetto Corsa League racing series. And finally, of course, we want to give a big shout out to James McAdam Photography and AJ Nickel Design, our lead graphic and photography partners. A lot of the thumbnails, a lot of the media work that you see done for ARC is done by these two, and we just always want to thank them for the work that they put into this league. So, another one in the books here in Monaco, making our way out of the Principality. I'm not sure where we'll be next week, Bill. Do you know? Or perhaps AJ?
I am pulling up the schedule now. Honestly, I don't remember either. I don't think there's a race next Friday. It's
It's
Good
Silverstone
Friday,
in 2
so
weeks.
Oh, that's right. It's an off week.
Silverstone, 2 weeks, yeah.
We will see you, of course, for Silverstone. Right back here, exactly as you found us this time. Want to give a big shout out to, of course, all the new viewers that we had for this stream. Links are in the description for all the information you may need to be joining the league and participating in these races yourself. Your name could be right up there on the board with everybody else's if you're willing and if you're able to make it happen. But 2 weeks it is. We will see you right back here for the ARC Formula 1 2024 America Series at Silverstone. Until then, signing off.